What's going on, everybody? It's your girl Shannon.
It's your man Terrence J.
And this is
The Last Podcast.
And why is this the last podcast, Terrence J?
Because depending on what we say or what we do, this could quite possibly be
The Last Podcast.
I don't even know if they can hear us.
You think they can hear us?
I don't know because I'm finna check right now. So how y'all doing? Let us know in the comments if y'all can hear us. I'm checking right now.
What makes you think that they can't?
Okay, boom. They can hear us. I just had to double check. Listen, it's better to be safe than sorry.
It's better to be pissed off than pissed on.
That is true.
Sage advice.
That is true.
Stay away from R. Kelly. So what's going on?
R. Kelly caught a shot as he's recording from the jailhouse.
Man. Okay. The Last Podcast. We're here.
We're
here for the second time consecutively. That does not happen anymore.
We won't be here next week, but we will come back strong.
And it's not my fault this time.
We'll come back strong.
Yes.
And
strong like red.
The reason we won't be here is the reason that I'm wearing this Hampton University shirt. We'll talk about that later. But make sure to get to follow us. Make sure you follow us on Facebook. It is The Last Podcast 1. On Instagram, it's _ The Last Podcast. And also on TikTok, it is The Last Podcast. We have a disclaimer that we must tell you guys so that you understand how this show goes.
Just in case you've never seen this show, you've been living under a rock, or you're just lame and now you're stepping into the cool side. The disclaimer is we will still be friends after the show, no matter what is said, no matter what is done. If you are new to the show and you are appalled by how TJ and I show our love for each other through fun banter.
The hell with you. I'm sorry. Because we really don't care.
We don't care. And you may be highly offended by some things that are said here on any given time, which rolls us into our unofficial, unofficial disclaimer.
Mm-hmm.
If you were easily offended by fat shaming,
mm-hmm.
if you were easily offended by any type of shaming, if you were easily offended at all, this show is going to help toughen up your skin.
Yeah.
Because you're going to stay and watch.
Got to. Yeah. Listen, hey, here's the thing. If you're an overeater or somebody who suffers from, thyroid disease or something like that, you look at us. Listen, you can tell we like to eat, and we talk about it.
What is thyroid disease?
I don't know. And then when people get big. I might be wrong. Hell, I ain't a medical professional, but I did stay at a Holiday Inn last night. And the thing is that
you're so lame.
We'll have some jokes. You might not like them. And again, we do not care.
Hi, Diane.
This is our show. This is how we do it.
Diane is our residential number one supporter.
Yes.
She has been, excuse me. It'd be nice if I had a drink up here. She has been with us since the very beginning. Diane has supported us, so we love Diane. When Diane is not here, her presence is missed, and I get the message the next day why she missed it, and they're always super, super funny. And she's not lying because I worked with Diane for years, and I know how this heifer roll. And so she's telling the truth.
Speaking of drinks, I've created all this. I asked you to come in here. You got one job.
I made this desk.
Bullshit.
Remember?
I don't remember nothing.
I was on the phone with you while we put this desk together.
Really?
Yeah.
That was the old desk.
Oh, is that the new?
Yeah. So basically,
it looked like the same desk to me.
This wasn't the desk that I built. Here's the thing.
I also built a big sandwich.
All this other
and
stuff.
And then you ate it, and you didn't share.
Oh, hell. Do I look like somebody who would share?
No.
Exactly.
Tits.
Shut your ass up. All this I built. All I ask you to do is get the drinks. It's hard to get a good workout here.
It is. You better hire you up. No.
Anyway.
Almost got canceled.
Well,
not a lot of them are here left in the States.
I was just going to say it's kind of hard because I hope you get the day you voted for.
They're getting them.
Oh, those days are coming fast and furious.
Man, the FAFO is in full effect.
It's serious. Listen, so we will get into our weekly rundown.
My toes look so cute.
weekly rundown is just a few things that have happened since the last time we had a chance to talk to you guys, and we always look at them and give you our take and our spin on them. And so that comprises the weekly rundown, and we'll get into our topic. But starting off, we did want to talk about our girl, our hometown girl, right here in Dallas, Texas, Jasmine Crockett, and I know you enjoyed this story.
Yeah. So if you don't know what's going on, Jasmine Crockett was at I think I want to say human rights benefit or something. I don't know. And she referred to Texas Governor Greg Abbott as Hot Wheels. And so she's getting a lot of backlash from both sides. Mainly from MAGA, from the Republicans, the hypocrisy. But yeah, I don't give a damn about Greg Abbott's feelings or his non-working spinal cord and his numb legs or his wheelchair. Greg Abbott can kiss all of our asses if he can stand up. Well, he's already sitting down since he's in a perfect position. But people are coming for our girl Jasmine because she called him Hot Wheels. They say there's, and I do understand decorum. I don't think I would have said that in the presence of mixed company, because you just really don't want any heat on you. But at the same time, who gives a damn? Donald Trump stood up and mocked a disabled reporter.
That's what you'll do.
Well, that's how he did it.
I know.
So, and so the manufactured outrage, the fake outrage, the whatever y'all have for Jasmine Crockett, blow it out your ass and then smoke it, okay? Because we don't care. I'm going to stand with Jasmine. Who gives a damn? What I do, it is one of those things.
Stand with Jasmine?
Huh?
You gonna stand with Jasmine?
I'm staying with Jasmine.
Who's
not gonna stand with Jasmine? It's Greg Abbott. Man,
I'm sorry.
That was a good setup. Thank you.
I'm sorry. I couldn't help it. Listen, shout out to the ADA. And we want to give our full support to the ADA and all the work you guys do here in America for anybody who's dealing with any type of disability. But a lot of times people ask to be treated equally. And
that's equal treatment.
Equal treatment, equal jokes. Okay,
but remember, this is Greg Abbott, who plays with people's lives, who put humans, people, God's children, who were made in His image, on who are trying to escape a bad way of life and trying to just find a better way of life. He put those people on planes and on buses and have them going every which way around America, dropping them off at they think they're going to one destination and they end up at another destination. These people who don't really speak English, they're coming to America because America was the country supposedly of give us your hungry, give us your poor, whatever. And they are seeking asylum in America or seeking a better life. Some of them are not seeking asylum, but the same Greg Abbott who was not born with a disability. He was walking one day and a tree fell on him, and then now his legs don't work. And so,
just the way you said that.
But I do want to point out that this is the same Greg Abbott who won millions of dollars for that accident, right? He won millions of dollars for what happened to him, and then when he became governor, he I don't know if it was a tort or a law or whatever to put a cap on payments. So he got his money, but if that happens to you, you won't get the same type of reward that he got. That Greg Abbott. Yeah. Roll his ass right off of a hill. Okay?
So
shout out to everybody who's not an asshole, but who is in a wheelchair. We love you.
Yeah, well, listen, the thing is that
tort reform. That's what I meant to say. He passed a tort reform to prevent anybody else who unfortunately has an accident from getting compensated like you did. So, sorry to mean cut you off.
No. So asking this question, and I understand the emotion and the thought process behind it. For a person in Jasmine's position, right? For what we want to be able to have her get accomplished.
Yeah.
And I know she you know she's a firecracker.
She is
right,
but sometimes you do have to display decorum. When you're heavy is the head that wears a crown, right? So you can't have that type of conversation in front of people in front of a crowd like that, right?
Mhm.
Now if she was on the last podcast
She's free to say what she wants here on the last podcast.
with me and Jasmine Crockett, you ain't gonna tell me shit.
Hey Jasmine. Yo, what's up, Jasmine?
Oh my god, I did not know you had Greg.
Come holler at us on the last podcast. You right here in Dallas. So anytime you come back through, we would love to have you.
Yes.
We'll create a special session for you if we need to.
And we have little mini wheelchairs. Just
We will not.
okay.
Okay.
Wheelchair cupcakes.
So with that being said, I think sometimes we know you want to make a point and we know you want to get the attention because there are things you're trying to get off. But what happens is you get really comfortable. You say things where now it's easy to turn the focus on just that one thing, right? And everything else gets washed away.
Yeah.
And I think you have to be able to maneuver and understand how to use your power, right? Because you do have the gift of gab.
But don't give them a reason.
Don't give them a reason
because they already see a black lady who wears her hair, who wears her lashes. They've already had something to say about that. She speaks. She speaks well, she speaks eloquently, but she still has, her AAVE.
What?
AAVE.
Okay. that was struggling.
It got stuck.
Yeah.
And so they already attack her for who she is because she's an outspoken black woman, and you already know how outspoken black women are seen in any. Let me shut up.
And people in that case, they be wanting things to get stuck in their throat too, so they can stop talking. That's kind of what happened with you right there.
What?
When you said she's an outspoken black woman, I said people want things to get stuck in their throat so they can't talk. They have slurs for people.
Okay.
And I was playing off your joke.
Okay.
Anyway, sorry.
Landed like
it did land good.
It did not.
It did not land good. That's something.
That
Hey, listen. Let me tell you something. We had a 99% clip on this show. We hit on most of them.
Almost. Well, I hit all mine.
Whoa.
The handicap is on this one over here.
You ain't hit your weight goals for the year.
And neither did you.
So I actually did.
Why turn this? You did?
I did.
You need to set your goals a little higher then, bro.
How about you create one? All right.
How about you create one?
I have some. I'm working diligently toward them. What you're not finna do
to eat 2 buffets a day.
What you're not finna do, taco
Instead
salad.
Of 4? I love tacos.
I know you do. We can tell you look like a chalupa. But with that being said,
that didn't land either. Man,
you do look like a chalupa.
I do not. I look like a beautiful
big burrito,
dark skin, melanated queen. I'm really
melanin deficient.
No.
Anyway,
about the queen.
Say something about the queen.
Because I call myself a queen.
Oh, you,
anyway, Greg
you
Abbott.
don't like being called queen.
I do not.
No.
Greg Abbott, but let me shout out to my strong black queen, Diane Rowland. But Greg Abbott, you can roll on straight to hell.
Yeah.
And while we are so upset about her calling him Hot Wheels, can we ask why Texas is number 41 in education?
But I want to go back to this other point. Again, anybody who has an issue with her calling him that, I want to see your tape when Trump mocked the guy who had a mental disability. Let me see your tape. Play it. And I guarantee you don't have one. So you don't have a problem when he does it, but you want to have a problem when everybody else does it. So at what you are doing, you got to understand, you teach people how to react to certain things.
Yep.
So when we now have a joke or have a whatever attitude to it, well, that's the same attitude you had.
Yeah.
So understand, you are teaching us on how to do this. And so, but the problem is you have an issue when it comes back your way.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So understand, what's good for the geese is good for the gander. All right. So it is what it is. But I know you wanted to get into real quick about the security breach.
Yes. So Hedgepeth, whatever, I did not learn his name on purpose. He is Fox News TV personality turned, I don't know what the hell he's supposed to be. Tulsi Gabbard, who is, I can't stand Tulsi Gabbard. Tulsi Gabbard is she she is a true informant. You know how we talk about what do I call Drake? Uh
You call Drake a lot of stuff.
I do. What's the word when he really he's an implant? What do I call him?
I don't know.
That's what Tulsi Gabbard is, right? So she came under the ruse of a Democrat, but then she's a Republican now. But Tulsi Gabbard is, they told her to plant the seed that Kamala Harris is not black. So when Kamala Harris ran for president 2015, 16, and in the primaries, that whole thing came up because that's the seed that she planted. And you know what black people like to do, when anything negative, one of us, especially a black woman, we run with it and we make it Bible. But anyway, so Tulsi Gabbard, they're all in trouble because they were texting on a platform called Signal, which is not a secured secured platform and secured messaging platform. They were messaging about the timings of the bombings in Yemen. JD Vance everybody was on there except for Elon Musk and Trump, which was interesting. But what happened is someone included, oh God, what's his name? George. I should have written this down. They included a journalist. How the journalist got on that text thread, I don't know. I'm not even sure if the journalist got on that. I don't think the journalist got on the text thread. I'm gonna be honest with you. I think somebody else was on that text thread, and they said, "Hey, you want to see how incompetent these people are? I'm going to send you this whole thread." But anyway, so all this classified information on their cell phones in Signal. And one of the persons was in Russia at the time while this information was being relayed back and forth. And so, of course, Russia probably has our intel anyway, because Donald Trump has probably just straight given it to him. So, but it is a national security breach, classified information on a very unsecure messaging platform. It just begs to differ. I mean, it just begs the question: how dumb can one get? Now, remember the whole DEI thing. These were the main people saying that they want these competent people, and DEI is going to erase the non-merit based practices of hiring and getting people into college. But it seems like they have gotten rid of the people who actually know what they're doing, and they've replaced them with these dumb white men and dumb white women, which usually has been the case. And America is a laughing stock right now. We are a global joke, and our defenses are so weakened. We are a weakened country. And I went live yesterday when I was waiting for the lady to do my hair or whatever. I went live yesterday, and I was thinking to myself, the biggest difference between America and Germany is that countries stepped up and intervened, right? And they went after Hitler, and they went to war with Germany, but they intervened to save, really, not just the Jews, but they were trying to save Germany from itself. No one is going to step up and intervene. Who will step up and intervene for America?
No, nobody's going to step up and intervene in America, because America has built itself into a military superpower, and you can't beat us in that way. The difference is that Germany was doing a outright, cleansing, right?
Right.
And so the thing is that although we don't like policies, and although we don't like, Jackie Robinson's information being scrubbed from a book, and we don't like
Right.
these things, nobody can look around and say these are atrocities on human beings. There are just
Not yet.
policies. Yeah, but I'm
Not
saying,
yet.
but there's just policies saying that, okay, well, they don't like what's going on, whether it's the tariffs or whatever the case may be. If we get to a
please
point,
understand that
this is the beginning.
Yeah, that was the beginning.
But if we get to a point where that happens, then here's you got to understand. Nobody will step in because what everybody wants to happen will actually be happening, imploding from the inside.
From the inside out, yeah.
And also,
so basically, nobody's going to come save us.
Nobody's going to come save us because they're saying we've been waiting for you to fall within. Yeah. Because that was the only way the giant could ever be taken down, because nobody could come from the outside and do it. It has to be done from the inside. And so nobody will be coming in to say, hey, we're going to save you from yourself, because the idea from the outside is you created this.
Yes.
And although, hey, I'm not complicit in any of this shit, but the thing is that I'm considered an American, and I am considered someone who either was complicit with it, and halfway agree with it to the outside world. And I do want to get the outside world a little bit of credit to understand y'all do know this ain't got nothing to do with black people, right? And I'm not saying y'all come here and save us, because I see how black people are treated all around the world. So I don't have any hope that somebody's gonna come in and be like, yo, black people, let me help y'all out. I don't think that's gonna happen. But the thing is that we are so weakened in a sense that we have so much infighting, that we don't have the attention span to turn outwardly to do anything.
We don't.
And so when we look at what's going on, and we look at the, you talking about security breaches, and everything was going on talking about the DEI, right? But the one thing that's never talked about, DEI is diversity, equity and inclusion, mm-hmm. right? Okay, so the opposite of that is exclusion of everybody, mm-hmm. right? Which brings on nepotism. Mm-hmm. Now, you always forget that just because you bring in somebody who is somebody or somebody you're related to or whatever, that doesn't necessarily mean that's the best hire.
No.
But you always look at a situation and say, hey, you know what? This is okay. Because if you see a room full of white guys, you say, well, those guys must have got there by their own merit.
No.
But let me tell you something. And this is one thing I know as a black man and a black person in America. We got to be 2 times as good to get half of the opportunity when we walk into a boardroom and nobody on that board looks like us. We have to blow everybody away. Mm-hmm. There's one reason and one reason only that President Barack Obama was ever able to be president, because you couldn't find anything on him.
He was the most blameless, blemish. Spotless. They tried everything. They went all the way and interviewed his college girlfriends. Remember when his Baptist preacher, Reverend Wright, mm-hmm. they said that Obama did not like America because he went to his Baptist, I keep saying Baptist preacher for a reason. His Baptist preacher does not like America, so he therefore cannot like America. That didn't work. So then they said, well, he's a Muslim. Well, which one is it? Is he Baptist and don't like America, or is he Muslim? But let me just say this. Let me go back to America for a minute. Since the beginning since Trump won, and really I started to feel this
first time or second time?
The first time. And I really started to feel this really with what's that big head ass man? What's that man? He used to be our niggerhead was on his rock at his family's what you call it. It was called niggerhead. He used to be our governor. Head big as hell. He got a nice set of hair.
Used to be our governor?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Jeb Bush?
No, Jeb Bush was never our governor. We don't live in Florida.
Not
Tea
Jeb
Party.
Bush.
Tea Party.
Bush. George Bush.
No, not Bush. After Bush. It was after Bush, before Abbott. He was damn it. Anyway, he was part of the Tea Party when the Tea Party started, because the Tea Party sprouted up because that was their Tea Party was a precursor to MAGA. Um, man, you know what I'm talking about. His head is huge to me, but he has a really, really nice set of hair. He got some good hair. Y'all, who was the governor of Texas before Abbott? Y'all know what I'm talking about. Tall, nice hair. Rick is the name.
Rick Perry.
Rick Perry.
Rick Perry. I forgot about old Rick Perry.
Yeah, because he went away in oblivion. But so I started to feel this way right as the Tea Party movement started to sprout up. But when Trump won the first election, I started really talking about democracy. And I have always said, and TJ can attest to this, I've been saying it for years. Democracy is like oxygen. You don't understand how important it is and how much you need it until it's gone. And once it's gone, it's not coming back, right? And where you going with this, Shannon? Well, the global watchdog has said by 2026, America will not be registered as a democracy anymore, based on the trajectory that we're going. It's a just released annual report. Hold on. Yeah, the US could lose our democracy status. And we are one, there's certain points that you have to certain tiers that you have to meet to be considered as a democracy, right? Or have a democracy status. And we are one tier above Canada. But based on what's going on in our administration, based on what's going on with our laws, based on what's going on with our citizens, America is getting ready to lose our democracy status. I know y'all probably thought I was being hyperbolic when I was preaching this hard in 2016. I was preaching this hard in 2020. I was preaching it even with Joe Biden. I'm preaching it now, and it's happening. When I was saying that everything that Trump is doing is out of Hitler's playbook, again, I was not being hyperbolic. It is almost to a T. And it's interesting that the people who are Trump supporters, MAGAs, before that came in, they were constitutionalists. They loved the Constitution. They loved the flag. They loved the anthem, but the Constitution was there. Now all of a sudden, the Constitution is not
They don't care.
They don't care. All of a sudden now the democracy does not mean anything to them. That's because they are trying to make America into a white nationalist, not Christian nationalist country, and they will still have their democracy, but we won't have ours. That's a problem. So please understand that all those years that I've been saying and that we've been preaching this, we've been saying this, it is now happening. Y'all, so all that to say is TJ and I are geniuses, and y'all should really listen to us more.
You really should. I mean, and I'm gonna tell you this. Listen, credit goes where credit is due. You first said that, and I had to think about it. And you was like, look how we're moving.
Yep.
Right. And then you start breaking down historically how this happened in other countries.
Yep.
And we've had democracy, or at least a symbol of democracy, for so long that
we just think
you think it's a natural given right?
Yeah.
And also the thing is, you got to understand the other trick is I have to make sure that I make you uneducated and I miseducate you. So there's a lot of things that a lot of your parents, if they went to schools in the 60s and 70s, they had classes called civics, where you had to learn about the government, you had to learn about the process and procedures. Well, then as a generation came by, they said, whoa. If we keep teaching the people this, it's going to be harder to pull the tricks off on them. So what we must do is make sure that this is no longer, don't worry about it. It's almost like where Trump got up there and said, Christians, you give me in here, you'll never have to vote again. Right? And everybody was like, oh, I've heard them explain it like this. No, what he's saying is, if we get him in here, things will get so good that us having to, scrape and scrimp and get all the people vote because he will set things up. No, he would fix it. He said literally, I will fix it to where you never have to vote again, which means a dictatorship.
Yeah.
And
that's what he wants.
As Shannon said about democracy, I sat here and I told you guys, he never wanted to be president. He wanted kingship.
He wanted to be a king.
He wanted to be a king. And the reason he idolized Putin so much because he sees the power and he wants that power.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the thing about anybody who plays sports. When you go into a game and you play and things are moving, things are going, you're kind of getting the feel of it. You go to the bench. Then you get a chance to watch from the outside. See, proximity is usually one of the things that we have to make sure that we are cognizant of, even in our relationships. Sometimes our relationship dies because of the proximity we have with each other. And if we were to separate a little bit, you can see somebody in a different light. Well, when he lost that election and then sat it out the 4 years before he came back, he spent 4 years plotting on how to take over and overthrow this country. They were so bold that they wrote Project 2025. And they were so bold because they knew the people, the voting population, was so dumb. And you had a lot of people reading it saying yes. Why? Because they said this is going to benefit us. And you had a lot of dumbass Negroes saying, oh, well, no, he said that ain't his book. And well,
it'll never see the light of day.
He hired everybody who wrote it, but he said
that's just left this propaganda and the libtards and liberal this and liberal that. And what are we doing right now? We are living in Project 2025.
Step by step. Do you know there is a Project 2025 tracker? It is letting you know day by day the amount of agendas that they had in 2025 and how many they've been able to accomplish.
So here is what I'm kind of concerned about. Because he's getting ready to sign he already did, changing the identification laws for voting. I think he signed that today. And I think it's with voting and with passport. What they're trying to do is, if you are a married woman and you have your husband's last name, which is different from the last name on your birth certificate, they are trying to make it to where if your last name is not on your what it is on your birth certificate, then you can't vote or get a passport. Now, there are a lot, and this is by their own admission. It's not something, again, that I make. I know a lot of stuff it's like I make up, but I don't. This is just how crazy it is. There are a lot of conservative white men, some black, most white, MAGA, who would rather not have their wives vote anyways. And if their wife is going to vote, they have to vote how they vote, not vote on your own volition, I guess. So that is pretty scary for married women. Regardless if you vote conservative or not, you should not be we are regressing so fast. It's almost scary because Democrats are very, very soft. Where's the fight? I get it. Speaking out, calling somebody whatever. Where's the real Hakeem Jeffries? You and your pretty eyes. What are you doing? What's going on? Chuck Schumer, you caved. And then you try to piss on us and call it rain. What the hell? What I would love for it to happen is for both parties to be wiped completely out, because both parties are ineffective at this point. Except for Barack Obama. You can do no wrong.
And I was just about to mention him. What
you about to say about my man? I knock all this shit.
This is a little bit of the issue that I believe that some black people had with Barack Obama.
That he was too soft? Or he didn't?
We're watching a president say, this is how I'm going to do it.
Well, see, here's the thing, and I understand that, but what, at least, and I have said this again and again and again, it may be a book full of BS, but it is still a documented agenda. They came to Trump and said, "This is what we want to happen. Can you make this happen?" When did any of us go to Obama besides the gays and say, "Hey, we have documented agendas with support, with a game plan, a manifesto, or anything,
and checks
and money behind it"? Mm-hmm. What did we do? So and I want people to understand this.
I got something to say too.
Go ahead.
No. So when I brought up the point, I said I think this is where people, because
they wanted Obama to be,
yes, right. Yeah. But here's the thing. I believe every other president understood, even Barack Obama understood what the full powers of executive order this, executive order that. But I don't think that none of them wanted to abuse that power for the fear that a Donald Trump would come in, right?
And it happened anyway.
It happened anyway because here's the thing: you ever been getting something free, and you said, "I'm gonna get a little bit,
I love free
but I don't want to take everything because when it's come around, if everybody takes this mentality, there's none for anybody,
because
right?"
I'm very gluttonous, so I'm gonna take it all. I don't want anybody to have it but me. You also are very gluttonous.
No. Yes. You gonna own that one right there for yourself.
I can tell the way your titties sitting in your lap. You very gluttonous. I understand what you're saying. But here's the thing with Barack Obama, right? So we have to understand the first election. We all remember what happened with Bush, right? Obama really did inherit a shit show. Mm-hmm. And I don't think that Barack Obama, and I'm not just saying this because he is the love of my life and he is the greatest president that we've had in the modern American history. And he was able to do the unthinkable. A 2-year obscure senator from whoever comes out with this Muslim name, this black man with a real black wife. And he becomes the president of the United States, right? So I'm not just saying this, but what I'm saying is we don't give Obama enough credit for what he had to do, how he did it. Remember, Obama just wasn't bailing out one industry. Obama was bailing out multiple industries. Obama can even get to his agenda in his first term because he was too busy cleaning up what the previous administration had done, which is so unfair for Democratic presidents because that seems to always be the case. Clinton had to do the same shit with Big Bush, and Clinton did it very well. Clinton just like those.
He does like those.
He liked those. He did. And he liked the cigar. Yeah. And I still think about that. There's two things that live rent free: Fitz's phone call to Olivia. And Clinton's rendezvous with the cigar. Anyway, let me digress. So
and Hillary said, "That's my man, and I'm sticking by."
Hillary said, "I got a whole pack of cigars." Anyway, so his first term, he was so busy bailing out. He was trying to save America, and he did it very well. Second term, he was able to do some things. He was able to push, the Affordable Care Act. He was able to kill Ben.
But okay, when you talk about the Affordable Care Act, we talk about how having access to health care for the masses, especially Black people, is great. And the emotional side. First of all, I've always told you, I've always said it right here. Democrats only win when the emotion side didn't rise up for them to go out and vote and take over, right? Barack's first term and his second term, black man, we went out. We did that. Everybody was anybody but Trump when Biden won. It was emotions, right?
And please understand, Biden won not because he was the best.
It was anybody but Trump.
It it was I will never vote for Trump.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So so the thing is that I say all that to say the emotional side of what he didn't strike a chord, and people are watching Donald Trump do things that are hitting the emotion of the people who he supposedly has support of, and who supposedly he's on the side, and people are saying, where was this? And also
Democrats play by the book too much.
But also, when you were saying, okay, well, he had all these other things to do, and where was our list at? This is our problem. Our problem is we're always searching for a savior. We always want somebody to come in and say, well, you black, you should know, right? And to a point, we do say, yo, you know what's going on.
Well, let me ask you a question. Barack Obama, would he really know? Barack Obama was raised by his white grandparents, half in Midwest, the other half in Hawaii. Remember, Barack Obama, by his own admission, again said he was so far disconnected from who he was as a black man that he broke up with his white girlfriend because he felt like there was a part of him that was missing because he needed to explore who he was as a black man. So, and Barack Obama didn't go to HBCU. He went to white Ivy League schools. And I really felt like his connection to his blackness came through his wife and her family. And so now he knows who he is as a black man in America, but in what how close is the proximity to the real black experience besides being pulled over by the police, right?
Yeah. And so that's when I talk about the savior experience, man, come save us, Lord. Come save us, God. Give us a God to worship. Give us this, give us that, right?
But all that was because of what? Slavery.
And them telling us that long curly haired pale skinned dude was Jesus.
Yeah, Cesare Borgia.
Yeah. So with that being said, we still had a responsibility, even with a black man being in office, to be able to go and put up an agenda and also fund it. See, I'm tired of us always thinking that we're just going to be able to sit here and cry about what we want and sing "We Shall Overcome," and then it's going to happen. No, it takes money, and everybody else puts money into whatever they want, and they don't spend the money on the things that they are used to spending on. So you know what? So whether that's your wheels, your J's, your weed, whatever the case may be, it's going to take a concerted effort from the people who are in this country who are already listed as consumers to be able to take that money and then to say, listen, we're going to refunnel this to an area.
And it takes patience, because I know they keep saying, well, all Barack Obama did was he pushed the gay agenda. He helped the gay agenda. You do understand that the gays have been working the very same agenda since Harvey Milk.
Yeah.
Harvey Milk. And the gays put their time, their effort, their money, their sweat, their tears. Harvey Milk. Look Harvey that Milk, up.
He was the
in San Francisco.
Yeah.
And that was in the 70s. So and the gays went through a lot just to get to where they are now. They went from don't ask, don't tell, the lavender marriages, which they still have, but shout out to Kirk Frost. I'm kidding.
I didn't say that. I saw the documentary, Kirk.
That's why I said that. But here's also my problem with and I'm talking directly to black people right now. The majority of your problems, your president cannot solve. You need to go to your local elections. You need to go to your local elected officials. You need to start within your home. You need to go within your community. You need to go within yourself. And then let everything else fall in place. But what you are expecting for the executive branch to do is not going to happen. Stop looking for a savior. Save yourselves. Nobody is coming to save you. Nobody.
Not a damn person.
Nobody.
And so we did want to touch into a topic, and the question is segregation a bad thing?
I know I was gonna get to it tonight.
I just wanted.
I thought we was gonna get to it maybe next time, but we can touch on it.
Here's the thing, and we can.
Yeah.
And so I'll tell you what. Let's do this. Let's pose the question: is segregation a bad thing? And I want you to think about it from this aspect.
Right. So let me just say this.
Okay.
When I posted it in the group, on the page, I said, is segregation a bad thing for Black America or Black Americans?
Yeah. And so the thing is that there are a lot of different viewpoints on this, and a lot of them have made a lot of sense. And I go back to think about when segregation was a thing in America, to the point to where when they started saying, yo, we want separate but equal, and I started asking myself, why were they asking for separate but equal? They were asking to be left the hell alone.
To be left
right
alone.
And I think the integration said we cannot leave them alone.
So my mother, rest her soul, my mama was born in 1945. She graduated, I want to say 1962, 61. I don't know. I should know, but I don't. She did not graduate in a integrated school. She graduated she lived in the segregated South, Conroe, Texas, where the Klan comes to the high school and hold their rallies. So, and she maintained until the day that she died that integration was the worst thing that could have happened for Black kids in education and for Black neighborhoods. Because remember, during the segregation.
Come on.
Well, those R's be shut up. We had our own Black doctors. We had our Black pharmacists. We had our Black farmers. We had our Black grocery stores, or general stores. We had our Black schools, our teachers, and remember, Black people then, because we have strayed away from a lot of our own cultural and customs. Black people were very communal. So when you messed up at school, your teacher knew who your mama was, because she was either your next door neighbor, and she would tell you, your teacher would treat you like she was one of your family members, like she was your auntie or your mama or your grandmother or something. And that type of love and attention from us to us. Because when I think about my mother, my uncles, my aunts, and just how intelligent they were, just on GP. And I used to wonder, so y'all were taught that in Black schools? And just the way that they can articulate themselves, the way that they think, and the way that they behave and know how to behave, and the way that they carry themselves. Because you couldn't go walk into a school, into a Black school, with your Black principal, your Black teacher looking and talking speaking in any kind of way, because you would get checked then. When the Black schools or the Black kids, integrated into these white schools, these white teachers had the time to give a damn about these Black students. And when I look back and think about my own primary education, I can kind of see it. The reason why I don't know math is because in the 3rd grade, Miss Clark did not give a damn if I got times tables and not multiplications. And even though I was struggling, she would tell me, you can do it, and then just walk away. Well, ma'am, I don't know what 8 times 8 is. And to this day, right now, by Lord and Savior, I still don't know what 8 times 8 is.
64. But here's the thing. So now, when you look at what your experience was then, right? And as much as we went to the same high school, as much as, and I didn't have her, but as much as y'all hated Miss Woodson, was she not trying to beat math in your head?
Miss Woodson reminded me of the teachers in the segregated.
And guess what? And I'm going to give you another teacher.
Miss Bostic.
Not Miss Bostic. I had a math teacher named Mr. King. I was scared as hell of Mr. King. And I don't get scared no other dude, but I didn't want to go to Mr. King class. But you know what?
Mr. King was intimidating.
Hey, listen, and after,
but I bet you
I took the test and flying colors. I went back to that man and I said, I did not want to come to your class.
Yeah.
I went to his class literally, y'all, and I said, I'm gonna be the model student. I'm gonna sit here. I told my homeboy, don't talk to me in this man's class because I know he gonna call me
Who was
if he
that?
see
Who
me
was the
talking.
teacher right next? Was it Miss Van right next?
It was
door?
Miss Van.
Okay, because I had Miss Van. Miss Van was really nice, but I still didn't get it. But what actually the reason why I passed the TOS test, the math part.
This is Miss Van was.
That was your Miss Trinidad? No, I know who your Miss Trinidad is.
Was fine.
Miss Van was fine. I can't.
Yeah, but that wasn't.
Yeah, I know.
But
Mr. King is the reason why I passed the math TOS because I
passed the math TOS because Mr.
Yeah,
King.
because I was struggling again. I've always struggled in math, even though I made an A in calculus or trig. I made an A in both of those classes because I was scared of my mama, but I didn't learn a damn thing. But Mr. King is the reason why because he knew how to teach us with authority and you got authority
it. And so
but also compassion.
But and y'all forgive us on this conversation. Do you remember Mr. King making you go to the board?
Yes.
Hit the board, young lady.
Yep.
And you didn't want to be embarrassed.
I didn't even raise my hand.
No, I told my homies, don't talk to me in this man's class because I don't want him to call me. So I was going to get in there and be quiet, right? So I was sitting there one day. He said, Mr. Jackson, hit the board, my man. But I wasn't even talking to Mr. King. So the
now,
thing
he made sure that everyone in his classroom
learned. And so I'm pointing that out because our school was a predominantly Black school with Black teachers and things like that. And there was a level of expectation that they had on you to get your stuff done. And you can go and talk about how, and just oppose that to your early years of saying that you could tell that they didn't care. You knew in the third grade, they didn't care about your Black self.
And let me just say this. We had bad kids in our class, whether they were Black or white, and usually boys. Boys were always so bad in elementary school, and it's not they were bad; they were just rambunctious. The boys were just being boys, but they treated the. Damn it! It kind of makes me sad because you see the mistreatment of the Black. I'm sorry, I just had an epiphany. You see the mistreatment of the young Black boys, right? And girls, regardless, unless they're just really, really bad, girls are more toned down, and girls are more studious. You know, they come to class to do work, and the boys are rambunctious, whatever. But they treated the Black boys very differently than what they treated the white boys. I'm almost ostracized the Black boys. Then in comparison to the Black boys and to the Black girls, they made us feel like we were you don't have to get that, but you're so good. You have such great attitude, and your behavior is so good. Don't worry about this. You'll get that. And you see how they act. They're never going to get it.
So it was a pitting.
It was a pitting
from early on.
Even at that early age. And that just hit me because I just thought to myself, there was a badass white boy in who I went Logan Peavy ended up in every class I had. I couldn't stand Logan. Logan Peavy was bad as hell. But if a Black child acted like if a Black boy acted like Logan Peavy, that boy probably would have been in juvenile. In the juvenile detention. But they made excuses after excuses after excuses for Logan Peavy, and he would make the teacher cry. And but if a Black boy got up to go sharpen his pencil without asking for permission, it was almost like he had done, he did a cardinal sin, committed a cardinal sin. And something that also sticks out to me, second grade, Miss Sellers' class. My cousin Star, we were in the same class together, and you know how we had chalkboards back then. We had whiteboards, and the little bar that held the chalk, and the Star was kind of leaning back in her seat, and she had her hand on the rail, and Miss Sellers said, "Star, get your cotton picking hands off my chalkboard." Well, I thought that was funny because who's cotton picking? Who says that? And I remember I went home to my mama, Miss Sellers, what's that Star today? She said, "Get your cotton picking hands." And my mama like came unglued, and I was like, is she mad at Star? Because but she was. Now I understand what that meant, and this is a teacher saying this to a child, saying this to a black child, a second grader at that. So I said all that to say we wouldn't have experienced anything like that in a segregated all black school. And I remember coming to Dallas when I moved to Dallas in the sixth grade. I went to a Del Turn. It was the first time I ever had a black teacher in my life. I didn't think they had black schools for real. I thought all black schools were were inner city schools in New York. You know, the stuff that you see on TV.
Mm-hmm.
And so I did not understand. It was such a culture shock because these were proud black people. These were black teachers and black coaches and black principals, and I could not. I was like, wow, y'all actually get to learn from people who look like you. Like it was a whole culture shock for me. And I used to always say, I wish the black people who I went to school with could trade places with the white people who I went to school with, like both people trade places, because I wanted them both to have culture shocks.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm gonna tell you this, and we're gonna come back. We just posing a question: is segregation a bad thing for Black America? And I like the first time I ever heard anybody talk about slave mentality was my fifth grade year, and that was Miss Rollins. And every time we did something, the first thing, boy, that's that slave mentality. And we were like, what the hell is she talking about?
You understand.
Now I understand. Listen, I'm gonna tell y'all something. Funny story. Cowboys were good back then. So you know how long ago this was.
92, 93, and 95.
So Jimmy Johnson said, how about them
Cowboys?
They put an article up in the paper that said, the boys, Miss Rollins, my elementary teacher, she lit into us like we wrote the article. First of all, Dallas used to have two newspapers, Dallas Morning News and the Times Herald.
I think it was 93, 94, 96, right?
It was 92, 93, 95.
Okay.
So we had two newspapers here. The Times Herald went away and we only had Dallas Morning News. And what do we know about the newspaper elementary? Nothing but the cartoon section, and they have some Toys R Us every once in a while.
I mean, I remember the Herald.
She said, and we losing one of our newspapers because in Dallas, the Times Herald gave more favor to the black people. Yeah. Dallas Morning News is really conservative. We losing the paper, and y'all just think this is okay. First of all, ma'am,
we don't even know what's going on.
And then she held up the paper, and then they're gonna put up here the boys. You call these grown men the boy, and y'all just think this okay again. But that's what you got.
Yeah.
And to this day, I remember that conversation.
That's how black teachers taught their black. That's why black men were so proud then. That black men took such pride in how they looked, how they act, what they wore, how they spoke, because that's how they were taught. They were taught to be proud. They were taught, you don't allow someone to call you this. This is not something we glorify. And again, this is where you're like, well, we happy we won a Super Bowl.
We were happy. She was pissed off. So shout out to Miss Rollins because they called them the boys. All right. We thought it was just short for Cowboys. She saw something totally different. But listen, we're gonna go deeper into that topic next show. Is segregation a good thing for Black America?
Now, in the interim, y'all utilize our Facebook page. Let us converse with us. Let us know what you think on our Facebook page, and we will interact with you. I think I made the post on our Facebook page. If not, I'll go back, but I believe I did. But go to that post and let us know your thoughts. Let us know your thoughts on anything, actually. But we want to interact more with you on our social media pages and platforms.
Yes. And I told you earlier, I will let you guys know why I had the Hampton University shirt on. I have an opportunity to host a morning show from WHOV 88.1 in Hampton, Virginia from Hampton University. And I will be broadcasting my first show next Friday. So that's why I won't be here. I'm not leaving. I'm not leaving Dallas, but I'll be.
Man, I know the buffets are really mad. I thought I was getting some relief.
You know
Y'all
what?
think COVID shut down the buffets? No, it's called TJ.
Shut it down. But yeah, so I'll get a chance to go up there, and we will record our first show live on next Friday. And so they're having high school day, so we'll be doing live broadcast there. So I'm super excited because
we're proud of you here at the last podcast.
I appreciate it.
Which is me.
It is. Yeah, this is it. Is it? Huh? What?
And the cameras.
Nobody else? All right. But I just want to tell you, so I started my time in media in 2012. I don't know too many people who started like I did that are even still around today, right? And so the opportunities that I'm getting, the opportunities I'm getting now is from hard work, from relationship building, and just being diligent in what I'm doing. And so I told someone, Lady Z, actually, I told her, and just you follow my career, know that my first 8 years on the air, she was my co-host. I said, I want a morning show. I don't know how, I don't know when, I don't know where, I ain't got no details, but I want to do it.
And look at God.
And look at God, because what happened is I got a phone call that was asked like, yo, I'm in need of a co-host for my morning show. And so, of course, my initials is TJ. And I remember Tom Joyner had the TJMS in the morning show. And I remember when he retired, I said, I want to take over the TJMS, right? Because those are my initials. So it just is apropos. And I met him last February. And I shook his hand. And in my head, I said, he's transferring the TJMS to me. It was a symbolic thing for me. Yeah. You know, he had no idea. He was just like, hey, how you doing? But I was just like, he's transferring it to me. And still no idea how this is going to come up. And then when I got the phone call to do it, and I was just like, wow, you know, who knew? Who knew this opportunity would come? Well, actually, I did. I just didn't know when. I didn't know where. I just placed my faith in God. I said, yo, you're gonna provide this somehow, some way. And guess what? And I told you, I got the phone call. I didn't apply for this. I didn't ask for this. I didn't specifically go to say, hey, consider me. I got the phone call out of the blue saying, I want you. So I say all that to say, whatever you're doing, whatever you're working on, have your own why. Because if you have your own why, when things get bad or things not looking like it's going your way, you never waver from what you're doing because you know why you're doing it. You what?
I told Tiffany I was not 8, I was 3 when Tom Joyner was my boo thing.
Oh,
I thought he knew my.
So the thing is that appreciate you. I listen with mother-in-law.
I'm sorry.
Oh yeah. I was gonna clip this and put it out. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
We need a flag.
You need a flag?
Don't mumble flag when I'm doing this.
So the thing is that just keep working at whatever you're doing. And I'm excited about this. I'm glad to be taking you guys on this journey also. So please stay tuned with that. The last podcast ain't going nowhere. No. We're going to keep rocking this thing and making it happen. So make sure you guys share this, post this, tell everybody about the last podcast. Everybody, you know, if you're a consistent watcher of this show, if it's your first time watching it, please put in your post because it don't cost you anything to do it, and we greatly appreciate it. And also, we're working on an event to have you guys come out. We're working on some type of deal on Sunday, so maybe you guys can come out and join us. So
yeah, Sunday.
Yeah, Sunday fun day. So we're working out. So we would love to see each one of you when we post the information, and you guys hopefully you can come out and come hang out with us. Y'all know we always a great time. So we're going to do that. And I think we out of here. Make sure to follow us on Facebook. It is The Last Podcast 1. On Instagram is _ The Last Podcast. And on Instagram is just The Last Podcast. And on YouTube, The Last Podcast. So make sure you go check out all those things. Subscribe to the page. Go to YouTube. Look up The Last Podcast on YouTube. We would love to have you subscribe to that and keep the show going. So we appreciate you guys. Hopefully you guys understand that it was Jasmine Crockett that called Greg Abbott Hot Wheels. I know you might have thought that you heard Shannon say that, but just in case the ADA is watching, She did not, because if y'all think she did, this just might be
The last podcast.